Okay, so the new gameplay demo for Forza came out. And I was actually, for some reason, I don't know why, I was really excited to actually see some gameplay and see what they're going to release after the trailer came out. Now, I have to admit, after the trailer came out, it's hard to get like an exciting vibe from it. I mean, because I don't know, my brain is still like locked, stuck remembering the Forza 6 trailer. I don't know why. That trailer is stuck in my mind. Even the Forza Horizon 2 trailer. I talked about it in the last discussion video leading up to the trailer to come out, and then eventually also the gameplay demo. So my mind was kind of in that zone. Like, I'm ready for another exciting, it gives you certain vibes, but aside from the demo and what was shown, the gameplay trailer was kind of like, it almost didn't feel like Forza that you're used to, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe because of this change in direction that they're trying to adjust to, having been so long since we've had the last Motorsport game. Maybe it's just a different vibe, but it definitely felt different than the older Motorsports. Again, in the last video, I was talking about how I really want there to be way more in-depth additions, so it just didn't feel like a hollow game that had just a ton of cars and not really much else substance. I really want it to be a really rich experience. Like, for example, one of the things they talked about is trying to incentivize people to play the career mode more. I have to admit, aside from a little bit of career mode that I dabbled with in Forza Motorsport 4, all the way back in time, I've never, even in other games like Project Cars 2, never been interested in the career mode. Why? Even with achievements, I care way more about the races and tracks that I care about, especially the cars that I care about. And the career mode, when you're jumping from slower vehicles, faster vehicles, and stuff like that, it didn't feel like a good commitment. Like, especially in Forza Motorsport 7. Like, Forza Motorsport 5 and I guess 6, I kind of did some of the career mode. And it's not like Horizon, where the races that you're doing are tied directly into the progression of the game. You can just kind of ignore it. And this is kind of the same with any other game, like Call of Duty, Battlefield, whatever. But especially in racing, especially in Forza Motorsport, I've never been incentivized to play the campaign, because it never felt like it felt like races that were slapped together without a story. And racing games don't necessarily have to have a story, but I guess in the conventional sense, an actual racing career cup mode of some sort, where you're traveling around the world in these different cars and stuff, and for it not to be repetitive, it always felt repetitive. And maybe that's because of the lack of tracks. It seems like from the track listing that we have so far, because they're not showing everything all at once, they're kind of eking things out, which is a little frustrating. We seem to have gotten a good amount of new tracks. Like, one of the tracks I saw on the Forza website was freaking Mid-Ohio. That I would have never thought about. Mid-Ohio is a pretty cool track, and I've been there before, obviously. But that's a surprise. I am happy to see some more fantasy tracks that they're building, because then you can explore, environments that maybe harken back to old Forza Motorsport 4 or 3 days. Obviously, I would like to see a lot more of the tracks, the real-life tracks that were in Forza Motorsport 4, and tracks that you see in Project Cars 2, for example. But we have to wait and see what else they add. Hopefully it's a lot and not just a little bit. That'll be kind of disappointing, waiting all this time and you only get a little bit more info. They talked about, having 500 to 600 cars, which is nice, and obviously they'll have big expansions. I hope their partnership with IMSA and it expands upon historical and modern cars, and hopefully there isn't restrictions with what cars they can add, considering, like, I think is it WEC that has a licensing agreement with Motorsport Games? Motorsport Games has some licensing agreements that I don't know how much that's going to affect Forza Motorsport's ability to transfer certain cars in the game. I don't know how all that works, but I really hope there's no difficulties with bringing cars that we're used to in the recent Motorsport games, like Indy cars and stuff, to the new one, because that'll be upsetting. Can you imagine not having an Indy car, old or new, at Indianapolis, which they've had for the past few titles since they introduced open wheel cars? That would be upsetting. And the other elephant in the room was that the demo didn't seem as high of a fidelity as the trailers shown and as we're used to in Motorsport 6, 7. There seemed to be, and obviously it said it's still a work in building, and obviously the fact that they can move the camera around to show off stuff, it seems like it's not all there with that demo, which could have been a mistake for them showing it now or not, I don't know. But the trailers look beautiful, and some of the gameplay they showed off the last time, showing off, what was it, Maple Valley? That looked beautiful and good and high def and stuff like that. So I guess we'll just have to be patient some more. And I guess we're not going to get a demo like we had with Forza 6, which would be upsetting because I want to get my hands at least a little bit on the game. But like I said, my point still stands from the previous video that hopefully the in-depth nature of what they want to focus on with actual racing is true. And hopefully, I'm laughing because I'm thinking about like the comments, like, it shows it's a work in progress, guys. You gotta give them time. It's not the final version. We've heard that so many times with other games, and then those games come out and it's bad. I don't recall a Motorsport or a Horizon game recently that was too broken or too unfinished. Everything seems well-rounded usually when they release, but oh, it does bring some stress and worry. You just don't want the hype to overwhelm the scene and then it not be worth it. That would be so sad. Just like most other games, it would be gut-wrenching. But all we can do is wait. I don't typically do these discussion videos often, but it seems like people kind of like some of the insights. So hey, if more info comes out and it's exciting, I'll talk about it. But I don't know what you guys think.